Speaking of people who are traditionally looked at as psychopaths, let's jump back to the UFC.
I like that one.
Let's talk about.
Let me get a like for that segue. People in the chat.
We got UFC Fight Night 147. I'm gonna tell you something that's bothering me, right? So every time the UFC signs another distribution deal or something to that effect, they start changing the way their events are, referenced, right?
Yeah.
So is it UFC on ESPN +4? Is it
right.
UFC on ESPN2? Is it, or are we still doing the fight nights? I don't really know.
I had to go directly to the UFC website to find out what was happening when. Because I don't even know how to search these events.
Yeah, it's just
except for like UFC 234, 235, 236. I don't even know how to search like their events anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? I don't know. So this next one, I'm gonna call it UFC Fight Night 147 because it would be UFC Fight Night 147. So UFC is in a place right now where a lot of what they're doing, the cards leading up to the next pay-per-view are like really for the hardcore, right? Because a lot of the people, you're not gonna
this card right here.
Yeah, it's like I'm a maniac, so I know like almost every single person on the card. Like there's like maybe it might be, I guess, maybe 3 people on here that I've never seen fight. And those people might actually be making their UFC debuts. So, I mean, and so usually if I haven't seen them fight, because literally everybody on the main card I've seen fight multiple times, right? But I'm insane. So that everybody's not going to be insane. So the card doesn't bother me. But when I look at a UFC card, I don't look at it from my standpoint because I know that I watch them all. And I take note of people who I think might turn into something, but I know that that's only like 10 to 15% of the fan base, right? And most people are not tuning in for Mike Grundy versus Nad Narimani. And, and that's actually the fight that opens up the card. And I know everybody's just said, who? And yeah, so it goes that way. So I don't know. I'll point out some of the fights on here that I think that people might want to watch because it could turn out to be pretty cool if you just enjoy like a really good competitive mixed martial arts bout. The Danny Henry versus Dan Ige. Dan Ige is like allergic to bad fights. He just don't have bad fights. It ain't gonna happen. He's not gonna have a bad fight. And Danny Henry is also a scrapper he has some surprising power, and his submission game is insane. Both of those guys scrap. Also, this card is taking place in England and in London, actually at the O2 Arena. And it's something about the cards that happen in London. You get a bunch of scraps. So, yeah. And so there's also Tom Breese versus Ian Hainish. I think that's a really interesting.
Can we talk about the main card?
This is good. This is informative is what this part is. This is how you find out about some people that you may not have known about. Like the Ian Hainish story is really good. He started off on Dana White Tuesday Night Contender, but before that, the dude, he got caught up in a drug ring. He ended up living on the streets in Turkey for years. He got locked up in a Turkish prison. He found Christ, got out of jail, and years later started his MMA career. Like his story is insane. He's a really good fighter. The fight with him and Tom Breese is a good fight. So I'm just trying to, you gotta sometimes, if you're only interested in the people you know about, you don't learn nothing.
It ain't the people you learn about. They got 400 fighters in the UFC, man.
But Ian Hainish has potential to go up. This is only I think his 3rd UFC fight. So he's got potential. He definitely has potential. But
I'm gonna watch the card because I like watching stuff. But is there a story on this card? That's the main thing.
Well, I think that one is a story what I just named because they've had some really interesting trash talk leading up to it. Tom Breese was at one time, he was a really highly thought of prospect, but he got hurt. So now you get a dude who's we're trying to decide or see if he's still a real prospect going up against a real legitimate prospect in Ian Hainish. So I think it's a good fight. I feel like Joe Rogan or something right now, but like it's a good fight. The Jack Marshman, they're going to the main card, the Jack Marsh and John Phillips fight. That is nothing but a brawl between two guys who have no chance to do much of anything. They just fight.
After the last card, I am not about watching two guys run in and just throw hands with no cares in the world. Like, sometimes it's fun to see that, but I'm definitely ready to see some martial arts again.
Well, that one there, that's just gonna be a fight. That's just gonna be a fight. Okay, this one's big. Volkan Oezdemir against Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker are the two best light heavyweight contenders that have not yet had a title shot.
Yeah.
Those are the two dudes who, if there is somebody in the light heavyweight division that can really give John Jones a fight, those are the two guys I'm wondering about. Dominic Reyes, I'm more sure about Dominic Reyes than I am about Johnny Walker, because Johnny Walker's knocking people out in 57 seconds in crowd.
Right, so you don't know what that is, yeah.
But Dominic Reyes doesn't have any weaknesses really that I've seen.
So do you think he can legitimately threaten John?
I think he definitely has the tool set. I got to see him beat Volkan Oezdemir and perhaps win another fight. But
you have him favored?
He's going to destroy Volkan Oezdemir. He's going to destroy Volkan Oezdemir. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be a statement. And he will be in position after the fight to stand up and do his post-fight interview and say, I want you next. But John's going to fight Thiago Santos next anyway. So that's pretty much already in the books.
Yeah.
Dominic Reyes probably will have to take another fight before that, because he's not going to sit that whole time. But if Dominic Reyes beats Volkan Oezdemir and then John beats Santos, and then Reyes wins whoever he has to fight after that, which if it was Johnny Walker, Dominic Reyes, oh my God, everybody move out of my way, because this got to go down. So that would be an amazing light heavyweight fight. So that's a very important fight. This Leon Edwards Gunnar Nelson fight, I think it's only this high on the card because Leon Edwards is from England.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
I mean, he's a good fighter. He's a number 10 ranked guy. Gunnar Nelson's a really talented dude, ranked number 13. But I think Gunnar Nelson already came crashing into his ceiling. At one point we thought he was a future title guy at the welterweight division, but I think we know better than that now after a couple big losses. I don't think he's got it. I don't think Leon Edwards is like, he's nothing special. He's very technical. He's athletic. He's got good hands, but he's a very safe fighter. And he wins way too many decisions. And at this level, you got to at least be able to finish guys. And I just think he's way too safe. But the main event is Darren Till against Jorge Masvidal. And I think that this is a really interesting fight. Darren Till is ginormous. I worry about him still trying to make welterweight because he passed out.
That's been the main criticism that I've seen with him, is that he should be fighting
at middleweight. And
the cuts are hurting him, even though obviously he only really lost to Woodley. But they can still hurt your performance even if you win.
And they hurt your body, period. Right.
Well, I was just gonna say is the criticism I heard about him is similar to what you said. Like, despite his record, that he's just doesn't have the it factor of a guy. Till. Well, he's just not special. That he just seems like a guy who's going to get to that number 1 contender status and then lose handily to a really talented, champion.
Well, he lost to Woodley, so he already had his title shot and he lost.
Right.
But Till does.
And that's his fate.
Well,
you think that's his fate?
Nah, I think Till absolutely has the it factor from a marketing standpoint, especially.
No, we just talking about in the octagon. You think he could beat Usman?
I think it's a great fight.
Okay.
I think it's a great fight because Usman doesn't have the punching power that Ty has, that Woodley has.
Right.
So, and we all know styles make fights. So anybody who thinks that just because Usman beat Woodley, then that means that Usman would beat everybody that Woodley beats, you don't understand fighting, because that's not how it works. Right. So it's about styles, and you never know who's this other person's kryptonite. Right.
Do you think he beats Colby Covington?
Who? Darren Till?
Yeah.
I think he probably beats Kobe. Kobe is a tough situation because Kobe and Kamaru Usman fight almost exactly the same. So it's insane. It's hilarious how much they hate each other, right? Because their styles are almost identical, right? They pressure. They both have gas tanks for days. Usman's a little bit more athletic and a little longer, but they wear you down. They pound on you, beat you, pound on you, right? Neither of them are big time strikers, but they wear you down. So when they fight, it's going to be really hilarious to see who really truly does have the best gas tank. It might come down to who's the least emotional because they hate each other. So, but Till beating Covington, I haven't seen anybody pressure Darren Till in the way that Colby Covington or Usman will pressure him. So if you're just trying to stand there and strike when Darren Till, you have a shot, even though that's playing into his hands. But if you can crack like Woodley could crack, then we see he can be got if you can catch him, right? With a big power shot. But that's not something that Covington and Usman bring to the table. So they would probably be banking on the fact that he won't have a gas tank after that big cut. And that could be ultimately be
which is the other thing, you know, 5 rounds. If you're in the 5-round group, that is what it is. But man, it's a hardcore card. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it. I watched the last one. I enjoy UFC no matter what. But from, you know, let's just face it, this ain't unless the performances just overcome the names and everything. This ain't the one.
Yeah, it's like it's funny though, because like for me, like I can talk UFC. It could be a card like this, and I can talk about it like the same way I talk about a John Jones card. I can because I get into all of the different matchups in that way. And I do think that you know, discussing and figuring out what in the world is going to be made of the UFC welterweight division is really pretty fascinating to me, because I don't even know what else.
You know what it is for me? The reason I love mixed martial arts is I love seeing martial arts excellence. So when I see, you know, these guys who have big holes in their game, it's not as interesting to me. Like I enjoy a good performance, and I enjoy, like you said, if guys have potential and they're growing, that's interesting. But when guys kind of hit that cap and it's like, you know, they're never going to be whatever, they're never going to close that hole in their game, they're just going to be a very good UFC fighter, or they're never going to be a very good UFC fighter. Watching those guys kind of, you know, wrestle and duke it out, it's kind of like, it's interesting and it's fun, but it's definitely not the same as watching the best in the world.
Well, I think if you're looking for a high level, truly high level competition, T.O. Masvidal, you're not going to get much more skilled than those two guys, because Masvidal might be amongst the top 5 to 7 fighters in UFC history to never fight for a title, or to not have fought for a title yet. The dude has phenomenal boxing and phenomenal Brazilian jiu-jitsu, just phenomenal. So it's weird. His problem is he has too many decisions, though. That's his problem. And when you're the decision guy, it's only a matter, or girl, it's only a matter of time before some of them start not going your way. And then now that's a L. So it is what it is.